Hello, scholars. I'm going to be taking a look at one of the Quill exercises I gave you this week. This is a positives, relative clauses, and participial phrases, discovery of DNA. Let's take a look at the first question. DNA carries genetic information. Genetic information makes all living organisms grow and function. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and start with my first sentence there and just type that as my base sentence. And then I could cook this on with a that or a which, and actually I think both of them would be fine in this sentence to use a that or a which. If I use a that, I don't need a comma. Sorry. If I use a which, then I need a comma. Which always is going to hook on with a comma. I think I'll try a which. So it carries genetic information, which makes all. All right, so I just took one sentence, made it into a little dependent clause, hooked it on, in this case, with a comma. Let's see if the computer likes that. Oh, and it does. Good. Rosalind Franklin used X-ray crystallography to create the first images of DNA. X-ray crystallography is a technique for detecting the structure of molecules. Well, it seems to me I should just take that first sentence, make it my base sentence, and then this little description of what X-ray crystallography is, I should be able to just tuck that right inside the first sentence, probably using paired commas. So I'm just going to start here with my first sentence. Rosalind Franklin used X-ray crystallography to create the first images of DNA. And then right in here, I'm going to use paired commas and insert. It's going to be in a positive phrase, right? So something that just renames or provides extra information about what X-ray crystallography is. So I can tuck that inside here. A technique for detecting the structure of molecules, and set that off by paired commas. All right, so I've got Rosalind Franklin used X-ray crystallography, a technique for detecting the structure of molecules, to create the first images of DNA. Check your spelling. Oh, crystallography. There we go. Okay, James Watson and Francis Crick created the first model of DNA. They were building off of Franklin's research. Well, I've got this ing phrase in this one, and ing phrases hook on so nicely with a comma. So I think I could probably just take that and tuck that right here at the beginning of the sentence. I could actually tuck it in the middle of the sentence. I think I'll just go ahead and put it at the beginning of the sentence. So my base sentence will be James Watson, who's not a guy, not a nice guy, and Francis Crick created the first model of DNA. When they say model, I think they like literally put pieces of cardboard or something together to make sure they could get it to fit. Okay, and then this bit about building, but I could be wrong on my memory there. Okay, I'm going to take this a little bit with the ing. Let's just hook it on as an ing phrase right here. Okay. Hook on with a comma, that should work. Okay, let's see what's next. Watson and Crick discovered that DNA is made up of two strands of molecules. The strands of molecules are twisted around each other. Well, it looks like I should take my first one there and make it the base sentence, and then the second one, I could add that in maybe just as a dependent clause. And I'll just use like the word that maybe to join them. So Watson and Crick discovered that DNA is made up of two strands of molecules. I think a which or that, both of them would work, but I'm going to go with the that time. If I use a which, I need a comma. If I use a that, I don't. You say, what's the difference between using a which and using a that? Well, you use a which for something that's adding non-essential information on. You use a that for something that's adding essential information on. And I think you could look at this phrase as being essential or non-essential. If these strands of molecules have to be twisted around each other, then I think that works. If they just happen to be twisted around each other, then which would work. And I think with the case of DNA that actually both of those things are kind of true, but okay. Watson and Crick won the Nobel. I should read it first before I start typing. Okay, Watson and Crick won the Nobel Prize for their discovery. The discovery was one of the most important scientific breakthroughs of all times. Okay, I can see a couple of ways of doing this. I could put a because, right? Because the discovery was one of the most important scientific breakthroughs. Or I could take this bit about being one of the most important scientific breakthroughs and just add that on as a positive phrase with a comma. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first just start by typing out the first one. Watson and Crick won, the Nobel Prize for their discovery. Okay, I could do like a which was one of the most important scientific breakthroughs of all time. I could do comma, one of the most important scientific breakthroughs. I think I'll do a which, actually. I thought I wouldn't, but that sounds good now. It's true, and what's cool too is just how recent this all was. Like probably within the lifetime of your grandparents, if the lifetime of my parents. Okay, I think that works. Okay. So I've got my first sentence, which I'm going to make my base sentence, and that second sentence I could hook on with a which. I could take it and probably make it into an ing phrase, so enabling life-saving research, that would hook on with the comma too. Maybe let's go with that. So I'll take the first one again, just make that my base sentence. I think I'll turn this into an ing phrase. Hopefully they'll be okay with that. Okay, so ing phrase just hooks on with a comma. Let's see if they like that. Okay, that works. Or I could have used a which. All right, that's it for that exercise.